Are you truly living life or merely surviving? Whether you want more time, more love, more money, or whether you want it all, we want to help you get there. The best part? Everything you want lies on the other side of fear and self-doubt. It's time to take the leap with your host, Tiffany Toombs.
Hello, and thank you for joining in for the inaugural episode of Take the Leap. My name is Tiffany Toombs, and I will be your host for this podcast. And so thank you for joining me as I take the leap into the podcasting world. I am a lifestyle coach and a success coach, and my primary focus in my job and in my life is to help people live their truth every single day. And by living your truth, I don't just mean in your career, although I do want to see everyone living a life that they're passionate about and being excited to go to work every day. However, I'm also talking about living the truth in your health, living your truth in your friendships, in your intimate relationships, and in every aspect of your life so that there's no need to hide. And I strongly believe that when we are standing in our truth and we are standing in our power, then we don't have the need for addictions and other distractions and afflictions that have become so commonplace in today's society. And so what I want to do with this podcast, what my aim is to inspire you to take that leap into living your truth every single day. Now, I understand that this is, taking the leap is a journey that you go on, and it's not all going to happen overnight. Yet, I want you to start taking one step every day that will move you towards your passion and towards what it is that you're truly meant to do in this lifetime. And so every Wednesday, I'll have a new episode for you where I will talk about the mind, talk about the unconscious mind and how we are wired to stay safe. I'm also going to bring on some really inspirational people from my network and from the world who have taken that leap, who have decided to jump off that cliff and into their truth and live the life that they are most passionate about, despite what they had going on in their life and despite what their circumstances were. And you'll find that these people who have taken that chance on themselves, they haven't always come from the easiest lives or the best upbringings, yet they've made their circumstances work for you. And really, that's what success is all about. Not wishing that you had what somebody else has. It's about making the best of the situations that you've been through, recognizing the obstacles that you have faced in your lifetime so that you can then be the best version of yourself every single day, so that you can show up for yourself in the most self-loving way, because that ultimately is going to be what takes you to the heights of your potential. And that's what's going to be what allows you to live this life that you're truly passionate about, and a life that brings you joy, happiness, and fulfillment more days than not. I'll always be honest with you in this podcast, and I just want to talk about the obstacles as well throughout the episodes of what challenges and what things are going to pop up for you that may make you second guess leaving your comfort zone, and show you that regardless of what pops up for you, what distractions, obstacles, challenges come up for you, regardless of what other people say, the best thing that you can do for yourself, your community, and the world around you is to take this leap. So with this podcast, with this episode, I am taking the leap into the podcasting world, and I'm no stranger to taking a leap of faith and believing in myself and going all in. And I've found that I first started taking this leap when the pain of my situation became so intense that I had to make a change. It wasn't a matter of choice anymore. It was a matter of life or death. And that's really what it felt like for me at the time was, do I choose the safe route and choose to be safe and have the secure paycheck and the 9 to 5? Or do I choose the survival of my soul? And do I remain true to myself? Now, one of the very first times I remember taking this leap of faith for myself was right after I had finished university. Now, I had been approached by 2 of the top professors in my second last year of university. And these are 2 men who are highly sought after professors for people from around Canada to be their master's supervisor. And both of these men came to me and they said, we see a lot of potential in you. We know what you're capable of. And so we want you to do this master's degree with us. Except we can't decide which of us gets to be your supervisor. And so we're going to do something that neither of us has ever done before, and something that's very uncommon in the master's realm. And we are going to co-supervise you. And we are both going to work with you. So you kind of get best of both worlds. And this is kind of one of those opportunities that when it presents itself, you don't say no. This is something that you have to say yes to. And so I was blown away. And so of course I said, yes, of course, I'll do it. Let's do it. And I spent my summer in the library doing literature reviews on manual muscle testing. This was back in the days when I was an athletic therapist or an athletic therapy student. And so I spent my summer in this library and signed up for a bunch of, in the last year of my undergraduate degree, I was also taking master's level subjects, which at that time were completely over my head, and I never let anybody know. I did the best that I could. I think that was the lowest, one of the classes was the lowest grade I ever received. I think I got a B in that class, and I was devastated because I was the straight A perfectionist at that time. And we'll talk about how perfectionism stops a lot of people from taking the leap. And then I remember summer rolled around. I just graduated from my undergraduate degree, and I was about to start full force into my master's degree. And I remember being at Costco in Spokane with my mom, and I had a full-on breakdown. We were looking at clothes, and the next second, I'm inconsolably crying. And my mom just kind of looked at me with this bewildered look, and she was like, if you don't like the fleece jacket, I won't buy it for you. And I said, no, it's not that. I said, I don't want to do this master's degree. My perception at the time was that whatever project you did during your master's degree is what you were going to become an expert in, and it was what you were going to spend the rest of your career talking about. And I see the value in studying handheld dynamometry and manual muscle testing. I just couldn't imagine talking about that for the rest of my career and the rest of my life. And my mom said, well, just don't do it. And I realized then that I did have that choice. I could say no, regardless of what an amazing opportunity it was, which is why I had said yes in the first place. That was the first time that I realized that maybe not every opportunity that comes my way is the right opportunity for me. Just because it is an amazing opportunity doesn't mean it's the right opportunity for me. And I see a lot of my clients and a lot of the students who come through my programs getting stuck in this belief system that if they don't take an opportunity, well, what if it's the last opportunity that comes up? And so it's almost like there's this scarcity mindset around opportunities. If I say no to one because it's not in alignment with what I want, then will that mean that the universe or God or the higher power won't send me another opportunity. And so I want you to know that since the moment that I said no, and I very boldly went back to my university and told these two men that I highly admired that I had decided not to continue and pursue my master's with them. And I listened to them tell me I was making the biggest mistake of my career and there wouldn't be any second chances to work with them. And I said, I understand that and I'm following my heart. I realized that looking back, I can see now that kind of set up a pattern. And every time since in my life that I've gone to take a leap, there has been this profound knowing within my heart and within myself that taking the leap was the right thing for me to do. And then inevitably when I started sharing the news of what I was going to do and how I was going to take that leap, there was always at least one naysayer. And I share this because I want you to know that the naysayers are probably going to be the people that are closest with you. The naysayers are going to be your friends and your family members. They're going to be your bosses. They're going to be potentially your intimate partner, maybe even your children. And yet, it's not their journey to walk. They're not the one who has to wake up every single day and continue to live that life. And that's why when you take this leap, it's important for you to realize, and it's important for us all to realize, that we're leaping alone in most cases. And we need to become okay with that. Now, just because I've leapt alone a number of times in my life doesn't mean that I don't have a support network. And as you start to take the leap, you'll find the people who are most supportive of you moving towards alignment, towards passion, towards happiness and truth. And you'll realize the people who maybe aren't so comfortable with you making that leap. I'm not saying you need to fire any of these people from your life, and we're going to look at this in another episode in a couple weeks about what to do with your environment when maybe they're not so supportive of what it is that you want to do. You don't need to fire any of these people. You just need to acknowledge that their limitations, or the limitations that they're putting on you, are a reflection of their limitations in their own mind, and it has very little to do with you. Anytime somebody says something to you, whether it's negative or positive, ultimately it's a reflection of them and a reflection of how you make them feel. So when we take a leap, we need to step outside of our comfort zone. And so for me, the very first time I stepped out of my comfort zone was when I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this master's degree. I did it again when I moved to Australia by myself at the age of 24. It was the first time I'd ever traveled alone, and it was also the first time I had traveled internationally. And I had these distractions pop up again. After living in Australia for about a month, I was moving houses, and I went to work at a baseball game one day, and my purse was stolen out of the vehicle, my friend's vehicle that I came in. So all my money, all my IDs, and my passport were in my purse at that time, and so I found myself back with nothing. And I'm still here. There's always a way. There's always somebody who will help you out. There's always somebody who will loan you the advice or the financial or emotional support that you need to get where you're going. I took my next leap when I decided to quit my safe 9-to-5 job. That wasn't really a 9-to-5. It was like an 8-to-8. But I left the safety and security of a guaranteed paycheck to start my own businesses. And I can tell you, and I will tell you over the duration of this podcast, that wasn't always easy. In our first year in business, we had a $1.8 million loss, and yet I'm still standing. I have had relationships fall apart that have led me to take a leap of faith into loving myself more and understanding that if I'm attracting negative boyfriends into my life, well, I'm the common denominator. So I need to make a change. And so I took a leap of faith and went all in on self-love. I actually took a 9-month hiatus from dating to solely focus on me and understanding what it is that I need and what I want in a relationship so that I can better manifest this perfect relationship that I was looking for. I have had business partnerships fall apart because I didn't trust that gut feeling that I had. And most recently, I took a leap of faith when I was forced to resign from a business in Australia. And I decided that I would take that as a sign to move home and fully invest into my passion of coaching other people to reach their potential. And each and every one of these times, people look at me and they say, well, you're used to taking the leap, and so it's easy for you now. I still get the anxiety. I still get the heart flutter. I still have the fear and the doubt in my mind. The difference is that I've trained myself to step outside of this comfort zone. And over the course of this podcast, I want you to start changing your mindset, and for anyone listening to start to train their brain to understand that the fear and the anxiety of taking a leap isn't a bad thing. We tend to feel this fear and anxiety, and our unconscious mind and the primal aspect of our brain takes over, and it thinks that we're in danger. It thinks that something is going to attack us or kill us. And we get worried, and we assume that this is a sign that we're not doing the right thing. Right? If we were truly following our passion, then we wouldn't have all this self-doubt and this worry and this anxiety, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So stop letting that heart flutter stop you. It's just your heart letting you know that you're still alive and that this is something that truly matters for you. When you meet the man or woman of your dreams and you get those butterflies in your stomach and that heart flutter, you don't go, oh my God, this must not be safe. I can't do this. Instead, you say, yeah, this is exciting. And you go into that honeymoon phase. So what if we changed our perspective when we stepped outside of our comfort zone, and instead of thinking that those butterflies in our stomach and that heart flutter, instead of perceiving that as anxiety, perceive it as excitement. Get excited to take this leap. You're about to jump off a cliff into your future and into your passion. And when you embrace those butterflies and you embrace those feelings and you choose to perceive it as excitement, you choose to perceive it as the universe giving you the energy that you need to continue and to follow through, you will be magnetic towards other people. You will draw people in that you never would have expected to draw into your network. I look at the people that have come into my life since I took the leap and went all in on my coaching business, and I am so in awe of the amazing people that I have in my life, and I'm so grateful for them. And yet I know that I attracted them because I embraced that feeling. I chose to see it as excitement. I chose to see it as the currency that I was investing in myself to live a life that I love to wake up to every single day. And so when you step out of your comfort zone, you can choose. You either step into the panic zone, or you can choose to reframe that and see it as stepping into the excitement zone. Either way, you're going to get those butterflies. You're going to get that heart flutter. You might have the sweaty palms. You might have the dry throat. You might have the shaking knees. And yet it's all worth it in the end. And when you choose to stay there and to embrace that feeling, instead of being scared and running away with it, if you can just wrap your arms around that feeling and say, I see you, I get you, and thank you for protecting me. This is the path. This is the way that I need to go, because if I choose safe, then I'm saying no to my soul. I'm saying no to my heart, to my spirit. I'm saying no to me. So when you choose that excitement over safety, then your comfort zone starts to grow. And what that means is that the next time you go to take a leap, you have to jump off a bigger cliff. You have to seek out higher heights in order to get that same thrill that you once had. And so that is what this podcast is all about. I want to inspire you through an understanding of how your mind works, through introducing you to some of the most incredible people that I have met on my journey. I want to inspire you to take that leap and say yes to yourself and just jump into the future. A future that is bright and full of passion and happiness, love and success. And I want that for each and every one of you that's listening, because you deserve it. And I want you to start believing that you deserve it too. So join me next week. I have a very special guest. One of my very dear friends, Kathy Valentine, will be joining me and talking about how after a 30-year marriage and 4 kids and a divorce, how that led her to taking the leap and saying yes to herself. And we'll look at all that she has created in that time since. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Head on over and please leave me a review on iTunes. That'll help other people who need to hear this message find me and find this podcast. And please share this podcast with your network, with your friends and your family, so that they can understand what you're going to go through as you take that leap. And maybe, just maybe, you can inspire them to take the leap with you, alongside of you. Have a great day, and we'll talk next week. Bye.